All right. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to go ahead and get started. If you would please stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we have the roll call?
Trustee Grimm?
Here.
Trustee Jesberger?
Here.
Trustee Sierra?
Here.
Fiscal officers here. Township Administrator? Chief of Fire? Chief of Police? Superintendent of Public Works? And some residents.
Our next meeting is June 2nd, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. at 999 Chambers. And at this time, I'd like to make a motion to accept the agenda with flexibility. Second.
Trustee Sierra?
Yes.
Trustee Grimm?
Yes.
Trustee Jesberger?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve the May 5th meeting minutes.
Second?
Trustee Sierra?
Yes.
Trustee Grimm?
Yes.
Trustee Jesberger?
Yes. And I'd like to make a motion to create fund number 9001, custodial for police.
Second?
I'll speak to this for a moment. This is just something that's recently coming out of our 2020 and 2021 audit, which is close to wrapping up. So they requested we do this, and that's why it's here. Trustee Sierra?
Yes.
Trustee Grimm?
Yes.
Trustee Jesberger?
Yes. Moving on to committee and team reports.
So for the produce market, May 13th, 2022, we had 8,500 pounds of produce distributed to 135 families that represented 467 individuals.
Wow.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on
Excuse
to.
me, sorry, I just wanted to give a quick update for the chat with the trustees that went on last weekend. We didn't have any takers on the east side, but on the west side, I had a really interesting conversation. One of the two biggest concerns is something that we've talked about before. Last year, we were kicking around the idea just a little bit about a new sidewalk along Chambers between Hess and the Circle to allow people from the interior of the neighborhood a safe way to get over to the Circle. We waited on that because we weren't sure what Northwest Corridor was going to find in terms of their recommendations for Chambers, and now we know that they're going to do a multi-use path on the south side. So I thought I would toss out there the idea of hopefully we could start looking into now of what a sidewalk project might look like there, and then just do a nice enhanced crosswalk to that multi-use path that'll be there in the future. But now that we know what that looks like, I think we could start thinking about it. And I don't know if, maybe if somebody wants to take a look and see what feasibility looks like and stuff like that, but it seems like it's definitely still a need. And I had, frankly, had forgotten about it with all the Northwest Corridor stuff going on. But
So just literally from Hess to Chamber Circle?
And unless other people want to, jump in on that. But, when I asked that particular resident, she was like, people don't come that direction. It's not that big a deal the other direction, I'd like to see at least, like I said, a crosswalk. We've got the township hall to consider on the other side of the circle. Maybe that's where we put the crosswalk so that people can get to the hall. But at any rate, I just thought it would be something that we can start talking about, start working on.
Is Chambers County or is it us? Yeah. So the site, if we were going to do a sidewalk, it would have to be. Does that mean that it can't be attached?
My understanding is anytime we need to work with the county, they're fine. They're more than willing to work with us on stuff. So we just need to reach out and if that's the case, and get them to start helping us with the idea and the engineering and stuff. They're never too shy about it if we are willing to put some funding in.
This is a sidewalk that would go on Chambers? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the beginning.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the north side of Chambers between Hess and Chambers Circle. It's just that short little half a block thing.
That's dangerous
Right.
because it curves around and you can't see.
Yeah.
So did this person say many people don't walk that?
That many do. Like, that's the main route from the whole interior of the neighborhood over to the circle.
A lot of people walking along there.
Yes,
And it's very dangerous coming out
right.
of there.
And I know we've done some trimming there in the last couple of years and stuff, but it's not, there's not a lot of elbow room, and two people with a dog.
Dave and I can reach out to the county engineer's office. If it's not
So,
close to it, but maybe we could tie it in with the Elmore.
yeah,
There's also not much space there, so we probably would want to see if the county would be willing to like move the road over to put that, because there's just not very much space between the fence there, and there's a lot of bushes. It's one of the reasons why it's dangerous is there's a lot of shrubbery that's there that I don't know if we would be allowed to clear out, or if that would be a compliance issue that we
Yeah.
could talk through.
that stuff might be in the right of way. We have to check it out.
Yeah.
Might already.
I
be
know
there.
that
Be
we
where it
walk our
needs not
dog
to
there
be.
a lot, and it's kind of scary. Usually we cross the road.
So the other two things that came up on the west side were some drainage issues. I just thought I'd throw these out there since we're going to be working on that. And so on Cells, the west side of the street, is apparently a low spot in several catch basins in a row, and lots of flooding happens there. And Hess and Cells, sort of north of Margiotta's old home, was another kind of bad spot. So I don't know if maybe just taking a look at those as we do the rest of that study we're looking at. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, as we continue working towards ideas for what's going to be Ohio Public Works grant stuff this year, maybe some of that study is going to help us identify stuff like this and more, but I just thought I'd mention them since they got mentioned during the chat. That's all I have.
I would second that there's a lot of drainage issues because of all the buildings and the construction that happens around there. The only real catch basin for water is our yards. So I know like a lot of people have to put up French drains and they have a lot of basement drowning issues. So yeah, if there's any way that we can think of to maybe outside the box of how to create better drainage over there, would be really helpful. I agree. Thank you. On to Mr. Huffman.
The first item is to discuss the Ohio Revised Code 5511.10, which is the holidays. You should all have a copy in front of you. As like back in July of 2020, we had made Columbus Day to Election Day. And then in December of 2020, we made Election Day into Juneteenth. So we still had, that took over Columbus Day, but when the federal government made Juneteenth a federal holiday, they added it to the ORC, Ohio Revised Code. So now we have Juneteenth and Columbus Day still. So I'm not sure what we would want to do with Columbus Day since we had moved that to Election Day, which got moved to Juneteenth.
I'd like to make a motion that we move Columbus Day celebration to the Friday after Thanksgiving.
We currently have that as Veterans Day.
I thought Veterans Day was still Veterans Day, and the Friday was the one that people flexed into or out of if they had a holiday coming to them.
My recollection is that we took Veterans Day and made it the Friday after Thanksgiving. I can research that. I'm not looking for a resolution tonight.
That might be
I just-
yet another resolution to look up then, huh?
Yeah. And I'll research that.
I remember
when
we
get
talked
picked
about
up.
there, like between Veterans Day and Thanksgiving and Election Day, there were too many in November, and then we moved Election Day was my memory. I thought we left Veterans Day alone at that point, but I could be wrong.
Well, we moved Election Day to Juneteenth then, which was the initial Columbus Day.
Yeah, and I just thought we left Veterans Day alone because we had moved Election Day.
We
But-
moved Veterans Day the day after Thanksgiving because we wanted to have staff on site for
Mhm.
the Veterans Day festivities.
Oh, there you go, okay. Motion withdrawn.
So I'm not looking for a resolution tonight. I just wanted to bring that forward for you guys to think about and make a decision sometime. And I can double check the election day, but my recollection is that
Yeah,
we made it.
and I remember too now that Brian mentions it, because we said we all wanted to kind of be doing the same thing too, in terms of not
County-
flexing as much, but having some reliability that everybody was off at the same time, so I do remember that now.
And let me
So-
ask a potentially dumb question. If the ORC says it's a holiday, we're obligated to make it a holiday as well?
It's a paid day off.
State Attorney General's office traded Columbus Day for the day after Thanksgiving. The rest of the state employees left it because they had
Yeah.
negotiating on. Yeah, you can do it because it says in
It's-
everything law, Ohio revised code, you can change it.
It's a holiday that I guess federally is a day off.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't say that they have to fall on that particular day. They
Oh,
just
I
have
see.
them.
The same
They
number
just
of
have 'em
days on the
listed.
calendar.
Right,
Right, we just
holidays,
owe, we
so-
just owe folks a vacation day.
I get it. Okay.
So the question is when?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
again,
So you will confirm those dates that we had last year as Columbus Day?
we last year we did Columbus Day as Juneteenth,
And then Veterans Day was the day after Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll confirm that, but that's how I kind of remember
Okay.
us doing it. So
I remember the discussion, like Brian said, when they wanted to have people here on Veterans Day, so they moved that to the day after Thanksgiving.
Because
I remember that now.
fulfilling employees on Veterans Day over if I live across the street from it.
You guys, what would make staff happy? What would make people happy? Another day around Christmas, or, what would folks like? Maybe that's the
Yeah.
question to have before next time, is to just, take an informal kind of temperature and see what the ideas are.
I mean, Christmas Eve might be an option, but yeah, well,
Yeah,
yeah. The thing is, it doesn't affect all staff.
right,
So.
right, okay.
Second item is a discussion regarding proposed economic development study by Regionomics as funded by the Judge Z Board. Towards the end of last year, we did go to the Judge Z Board to ask for funding to do an economic study for the township. They agreed to it, and they provided funding for it. I knew Dr. Lafayette from the past, and I ran into him at a MORPC meeting, so I talked to him there. He expressed interest in doing it. When I brought it up to the Judge Z Board, several of the Judge Z Board's members were aware of Dr. Lafayette and spoke, I think, highly of him as well. The proposal would be the key deliverables, excuse me, would be a detailed report including an analysis of demographic and economic information, provide a summary of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats emerging from the analysis, and then create a set of recommendations. Dr. Lafayette would then also be available to work with us and the community leaders, excuse me, on strategies to actually implement the report recommendations. So this is not technically coming out of any of the general fund money or anything like that. It's just a study that the township kind of started a couple years ago, but that consultant wasn't able to follow through. So it's considerably less than what the Judge Z Board provided us, but I think based off what we learned here, we might be able to use Dr. Lafayette to do some additional studies afterwards. So at that point, I believe I'll make the recommendation at least that we move forward with Dr. Lafayette, to do the study as proposed, look for his deliverables, and then try to work with him to see how we can implement that and improve both sides of the township. Something that just came up, I received an email late this afternoon, so I apologize if not on the agenda, but it was from Local Waste Services in regards to trash services. They are saying that because of May 30th being Memorial Day, that services will be delayed to the following day, the week of May 30th through June 4th only. So our service currently is Thursday, so that particular week, trash will be on Friday. So just kind of a heads up on that. And just remind the board that I'll be out of the office next week.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Chief Raley?
We have no new business for the board.
Thank you. Chief Jones?
I just have a couple things, flexibility. First is an announcement that I'd like to share with the board. Officer Jeremy Wallace was selected with a few officers from across the state of Ohio to participate in the Drug Recognition Expert Program. This is funded by NHTSA, and there's only a handful of officers across the state each year that are picked for this. So for several weeks in October and November, he will be in training. In their final week and a half, they are shipped down to Florida for the final certification. Not really vacation time, but so it's a nationwide program. In Ohio, they select a handful of officers once a year, and he was selected with some of his DUI enforcement that he's done and some of the other training that you have to be able to even enter into this program. So I just wanted to announce that to the board and congratulate him for that acceptance for that program.
Congratulations.
The other thing I'd like to share, or I guess get permission from the board, Detective Phillips will be going to tactical officers training up in Sandusky. I believe it's the second week of June, and to have the access for him to use his unmarked vehicle to go to that training for the week up there.
So moved. I'll second.
When was it?
I believe it's the second week of June. I'm not sure what those days are. It's Monday through Friday.
Trustee Grimm
That sounds
Yes.
probably right.
made the first, okay. And then Jessberger seconded that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so roll call for taking the undercover vehicle to the training about the second week of June. Trustee Sierra,
Yes.
Trustee Grimm,
Yes.
Trustee Jessberger.
Yes.
And that's all that the police department has.
Thank you. Mr. Medley with Public Works?
The first item I have is the scrap tire collection day. Sarah Fink is here with the Franklin County Public Health. She sent an email, wanting to know if we would host a scrap tire collection day on Saturday, the July 18th or June 18th or July 9th from 9 to 12. She's here if she wants to speak upon her more knowledge about it.
Do speak.
Hi, Sarah.
about it, yeah.
Hi. I'm Sarah Fink. I'm the Community Environmental Health Supervisor at Franklin County Public Health. One of the programs I oversee is mosquito management. Not sure if everyone knows, but scrap tires are a perfect environment for mosquitoes to breed. It's nearly impossible to get water out of them. It keeps the water nice and warm for the mosquitoes. So instead of relying so much on spraying and pesticide application, we're really trying to get rid of some of these scrap tires. And as you may know, scrap tires are really tricky to get rid of. You can't, just put them in trash. Usually have to pay a fee. So for the past 2 years, we've done collection events where residents can just bring us their scrap tires for free, and then we pay for the cost of getting them disposed. This year, we are teaming up with Columbus Public Health, and we wanted to do kind of like 4 regional drives. In the past, we've always focused on our township areas, and we usually have a lot of people from Columbus show up anyways. And we always take their tires because we want to make sure that they're not just driving away and dumping them somewhere nearby in our townships. So, yeah, this would be an event that's open to anyone, township resident, Columbus resident. We usually limit it to 10 tires per household. That's the amount you can legally transport without having an EPA scrap tire registration. You don't want to get anyone in trouble. And rimless tires, if tires are still on the rim, they're sealed and they're not holding that water and causing that leaking environment. It's also extra $5 for every rim you have to get rid of. Yeah, we usually only have it open to households, not businesses' office. We expect businesses to responsibly dispose of their tires as required. The other aspect will be giving away packets of mosquito larvicide. So this is similar to the product that our program applies to standing water, but these are for residential use. So if residents have like a rain barrel or maybe a little ornamental pond that doesn't have like a fountain or something moving the water, this will control mosquito larvae in the water and prevent them from overtransmitting adults without impacting other species. And it's safe for other animals, pets, humans. So it's like a really great way to control mosquitoes while not harming the environment or anything. But yeah, we thought hosting it here would be a really good location. I know we've found a lot of tires dumped kind of nearby in the area, unfortunately. So we thought having one here would be really helpful to people in the area. And also kind of the setup, usually we try to have like one-way traffic. And I know we have multiple drives here, so that would be easy. But sorry, I'm going on and on.
I love it.
Had questions.
I love it.
Yeah. What were those dates?
So when and where is this?
Or could be.
So we'd like to have one at this building if it works out. I know there might be some concerns with, I want to make sure we're not obviously blocking any
June
fire
18th,
escapes or
July
anything like
9th,
that.
then I couldn't get the other
So
one
I
because
guess
it's July
that was
12th.
my main question. And it would either be, depending on what date you prefer, we were talking about either June 18th or July 9th. So Saturday is 9 a.m. to 12. What we do, we stack the tires then. Liberty Tire will be by that following Monday to pick them up. We do treat the tires with a liquid larvicide product as we collect them, just to make sure that you don't have any extra mosquitoes happening on your property before Liberty picks them up.
If we were to wait till July 9th, that might give us more time to promote it. I'm pretty sure we'll be open to this. I don't make the decision, but my quick thought is giving us more time to promote the event might be better than putting it on the 18th.
Okay, yes.
But I don't have a dog either way.
We do, Columbus Public Health, their graphics team that has been designing flyers and social media graphics. I know both our health departments have plans to promote this as well. So hopefully we get the word out.
And just to brainstorm, do you think we could do this annually about the same time every year? Because sometimes it helps to just kind of get that in citizens' heads. Like they are getting used to us doing litter cleanups as we climb out of COVID. So it'd be nice. I think we're going to be for it. And do you think your folks could do this at the same time every year, maybe? So our citizens kind of stay on the same page?
Yeah, I'm hoping, I know in years past we've had to rely on getting grant funding from EPA. This year we didn't, but our director had funding available for us.
I see.
I'd be more than willing to come back out every year.
Yeah.
It's just more matter of funding.
I
Hopefully
see.
we can plan for it, 'cause I think we've shown that these have been pretty successful and very well received by the community.
Well, I'm with Deb on timing. Does anybody have any concerns about parking lot use, or we work that out on other occasions for other things? Are you guys good to go with that?
Have we done this here before? It seems like, I think we did a tire sweep.
We advertised it for Mifflin last year, I think.
Yes.
I think last year you guys went through the alleys for us and pulled it directly.
And we have had it at a Mifflin firehouse too. We thought with opening up to Columbus that specific Mifflin firehouse might be a little small. It's kind of a long drive to get back, so we're afraid that might be a little.
I would be opposed to partnering with you to use our front ramp. We have 2 phase spaces over there that would be able to be used out front, so we can have some people pull up and drop off out there. So I think that would be great.
Okay.
I think the
Keep
current-
in mind that they're gonna be stacked for the weekend, however. I'm not sure do you want that out front, or is it better to keep an eye
When
on
does
it there
Chat
than it
come?
is to just have it in the back of the property, that big pile?
Whatever would be easiest to draw people in. I know we have our drive-through markets that come in Brandon, but sometimes the information gets kind of confusing with where to go to get into the complex. Unless we have a lot of signage out front.
When are they in June and July? The drive-through markets?
We are on the 8th of July, the day before.
Okay.
Great, we can promote this too.
I mean, would that be difficult for you guys to have all the food in there and then also the tires potentially? It's the day. The
It's
tire
just all
drive is the
day.
day after the produce market.
So we would be able
You'd be fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the current proposal is to have them come through the south driveway, drive around behind Public Works Building, out the north driveway.
Well, it won't be going behind because we'll have a salt barn there at that time. So everything would be right behind the salt barn. So instead of going around our building, they just be in front of the building. We'll have that whole area right there behind the one dumpster. We can pile all the tires right there.
It's a beautiful thing.
So
I'm into it.
I think we're good with the 9th of July.
Do we vote on it?
No, it's not a,
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
One last guess, I just remembered, in the past, the most successful advertising actually for these drives have been just roadside signs. I don't know if the township has any, of like construction signs that you can put like messaging on, that we could like put on Cleveland Avenue the day before, so people to advertise.
Well, we got the board out front.
we have an electric message.
Sign out there.
If we have paper flyers, we can actually hand those out at our produce markets the day before.
Okay, yeah, we'll have paper flyers, that I can have out here.
And whatever documentation your group comes up, we'll send it to Dave or myself, and I can get it up on social media.
Okay.
Then this also helps us with our MS4 functions through the year also. Will help us also, correct? It should, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Did we need a motion to, okay. Then the second thing I have is, been worried about the road salt. I've been used to doing ODOT pricing in the past. The township here does a little different. I kind of like this style because you're not committed to what you're requesting. So I did submit today a request for 250 ton of road salt for this year and next year. So once that goes in, they'll get pricing. Once they get the pricing, then I'll let you know how much that'll be.
You said for this year and next year?
Yeah, it'll be the 22-23 season.
And when is that typically delivered? Right, we're gonna have a salt barn first, right? That's
Actually, if we get the salt barn done before the end of June, we could probably get some salt at this year's contracted price because we know it's going to go up. So if the barn gets done, I may
Yeah.
get some salt yet on the
Yeah.
old contract.
That'll help keep the snow away, so let's do it.
Yes, always does. Then I got a couple other things I did not have on the agenda. I just got some word on it today. The pavement management group, they're planning on the 1st of June coming out and doing the asphalt ratings for us, starting on that project. And the OPWC, Barb Cox finally got back with me today. Said the paperwork just went out for this next round OPWC money. She says there's two funds there. One's for like asphalt roads. Another one is for storm sewers and things like that. We just got to determine which route we want to go, what we want to do, and then I'll get with her and we'll discuss it and see if we can't maybe get something going.
pretty much waiting for recommendations from you guys on that. It's typically what we do is just kind of put heads together and
I
come
don't
up
know
with some
whether,
ideas and then bounce those off Franklin County, so.
okay, I don't know whether the board sees any roads that they feel could be done. I know I was on Ormond. It looks like we have new sidewalk on the one side. The road's pretty rough. We could dress that up if that's a road we want to look into. Or some other drainage issues, but I think something we can talk about in the next few weeks and maybe make a decision. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Any appreciations?
I'd like to appreciate Jess and her daughters for celebrating the Public Works Week, putting out things for the guys back there. I know they appreciate it, and I believe she's done it for the police and fire also.
Thank you. I would like to actually appreciate EMS, police, and Public Works. This is their week. While we do obviously appreciate everything they do 365 days of the year, I think it's awesome that there are particular weeks to really emphasize and to stress what they do for communities. So just know that we absolutely see everything that you all do. And I know for a fact that my daughters and I very much appreciate everything that each of our departments do for this township and for us. So thank you very much. And Bobby?
Yeah, I don't have any appreciations, but on other items, I just did want to mention that on the west side, we've got a lot of properties with high grass, grass up to here and stuff like that. And I appreciate if somebody can take a look at that and do something. And the house, Nick, the house I mentioned about the trash can, there's the trash can out again. I think he might have sent him a letter, because they took it in 1 week, now it's back out again 24/7. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if any of you guys, you've been over to see either of the two houses that Linda Buckle owned that were bought and have been redone. They had an open house at the one on Chambers Circle last weekend, and I went through it. It's gorgeous. They've already got bids on it. It's, you go in the living room, there's a living room and then a beautiful kitchen. It's all done in shades of gray. And there's a real nice kitchen, and there's 2 bedrooms downstairs and a bath. And then upstairs is gonna be the master bedroom, and they took the small back bedroom, made it into a full bath with a walk-in shower. It really is very, very lovely. I didn't go down to the basement. The one on cells, I haven't been in yet, they haven't finished, but they've been working hard on that one, and I think it's gonna be really nice when they get it done. I'm gonna alert you to the fact that we're probably gonna new Linda Buckle at the corner of Cells and Rhoda. The lady that lived there was a professor at Ohio State, and she has moved to California. And I got this from the lady her neighbor across the street. She's moved to California. And I said, well, what is she going to do with the house? Rent it, sell it? She said, no. She said she had spent so much money fixing it up that she didn't want to sell it. And I thought, that doesn't even make sense, but that's what she said. And she isn't planning on renting it at this point. And they finally had a professional come. Some professional came from somewhere last week and cut it, because I'm not kidding. That grass in that yard was this high in the front and this high in the back. So I hope she's going to have somebody continue to come, because if not, we're going to have to Linda Buckle in there. But the 2 houses, if you get a chance to go in the one on Chambers Circle, do.
It's really gratifying to hear after what a struggle that was and how many.
That one they didn't even think they were going to be able to say.
Yeah.
And they finally decided they could, and
That's great.
There are possums living in it.
That's great news.
Really is very nice. They put the garage back. They turned the family room back into a garage. So they now has one car garage instead of that close in.
Nice.
Now, building off that particular property, they do have a vacant lot next door for sale.
Yeah, and I haven't figured out how that works, because that's all over what used to be the creek.
Yeah.
I'll send you the plans.
You have to,
Because I think you said something about they wanna, it's for sale, they wanna put a house in the back corner or something?
yeah,
But when, I think Rochelle told me that it was up for sale, so I called the realtor and said, you know, that's not a buildable lot. He's like, well, you know, we had an engineer come and look at it, and you can squeeze the house on there, but it's gonna be in that back corner towards Nick's house.
Yeah,
Not have backyard, not really not have side yard, and they can't do anything in the front yard, because that's where all
right.
the piping goes.
I can't imagine anything going in back there other than what, one of those like tiny houses or something? I can't think.
you got,
A-frame.
Yeah, because you can't build on the lot.
Let's hope the buyers do their due diligence and don't just buy some lot thinking they can do anything they want.
On the other side of
Big
this circle,
surprise.
that open lot, because of that same reason. Now, the thing is, if they build one on that, somebody might decide to try to do it on the other side.
Well, on the other side, if it goes down the middle of the lot, I don't know exactly where it goes,
I
but
don't
if it
know,
goes
I
down
can't
the
remember.
middle of the lot, I think there's absolutely no way.
Is that the one that we own? Is that the one you're talking about on the other side?
Vacant lot on the other
So
side.
we just keep it. I mean, you know, we're already got, like, it's already Frisbee golf land, right? It's Frisbee golf now. Yeah.
So the other one, I guess the pipe kind of starts turning to the northeast, so that opens up that back corner barely to the house. I have the plan the realtor sent me, and I'll try to send that to you.
And I'm
so
trying
you
to
can
think,
see
because
how-
when it went across the street, it went right through the back of Irene Knight's property. And she came to meetings for, what, 10 years, complaining about the creek every meeting. So, and we don't know what's gonna happen with her house yet. So, there's still 3 houses that Linda owns. Irene's house, her house, and her parents' house. I don't know what's gonna happen with those. But the other 2, really, it's amazing what's been done with them.
Thank you for all that information.
So I have something to add to other items. I'd like to make a motion to hold the board meetings on the first Thursday of the month only for June, July, and August. All other times, locations to stay the same.
Would that be okay with you guys? I mean, if we just switched it to one meeting a month versus 2?
sure. They tend to be longer, but
Is that permanent or just for the summer?
Just
I mean,
the
is it
summer.
for all time?
The summer.
I
Just the
made it for
summer.
June, July, and August at this
okay.
point.
Is everybody comfortable with that?
Is there a second?
Yeah, I second.
hold on. All right, and seconded by Rebecca.
And in case there's anyone who doesn't know, that this was really common practice until we started building this building. And then in 2016, when we started this, it was clear to the board that we just needed to make way too many decisions way too quickly to not meet for a month. But it was pretty standard practice for a really long time before that.
Used to be about 15 minutes of a meeting would be over.
Yeah.
And one summer there was, we had to have an emergency meeting to get out of a health insurance policy. So of course that always still stands. If something comes up and everybody's available,
Yeah.
the board will meet. Okay, roll call. Trustee Sierra,
Yes.
Trustee Grimm,
Yes.
Trustee Jesberger.
Yes. And other items, I would like to make a motion to enter an executive session per ORC 121.22G1 to consider the compensation of public employees or officials.
Second?
Trustee Sierra,
Yes.
Trustee Grimm,
Yes.
Trustee Jesberger.
Yes.
Start at 7:10. That's it. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, we are back in session at 7:26 PM, and I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All right.